What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Juice Bros channel. I'm Dylan.
I'm Logan.
We're back with episode 2 of the Attack on Titan review. That Day, The Fall of Shiganshina, part 2. Yo, wait a minute. You hear that, Logan?
What is that?
Hey guys, it's me, Dan. I like long walks on the beach. I like cuddles and watching Attack on Titan. Yeah, boys.
We would like to officially welcome the third member of the Juice Bros here today. Big reveal. I know. That was quite the
Big
introduction.
reveal. I know, right? Top 10.
10 out of 10.
Oh, jeez. So, Dan is a first-time watcher of Attack on Titan, and he's taken the journey with us. Me and Logan have both watched before, if you haven't watched the first episode. So, we have a little dynamic going on, and we got to be careful about talking about spoilers and stuff.
No spoilers.
Yeah. Just shut your dang mouth while I'm present.
So, before we get into this episode, I'd just like to ask your general thoughts on the first episode, Dan, real quick, just so the viewers get a sense of what you thought about that.
Well, I am pretty new to the anime scene, to be honest. This is probably like my if we're not counting Avatar as an anime, it's probably like my second anime I've actually tried sitting down and watching, besides Dragon Ball. And I thought the first episode was fantastic. It's I have some love-hate relationships with the main character so far. I kind of want to punch him in the face.
As does
I
everyone
kind of
else.
never wanted to
First
kick a
watch.
kid in the face more in my entire life. But I really like the animation. It's really cool. Like the stop frames on some of the more dramatic parts are pretty cool. Yeah, I'm excited because you guys have been hyping this up, and look, it's pretty good
It's
so
worth it.
far.
It's worth the. So we pick up here,
Yes.
right after the events of episode 1, right into Titan Massacre City. This stuff is it's just like the first quarter of the episode is just straight carnage.
People are getting dunked on left and right.
Absolutely dunked on. It's just left and right. You get scenes of just like still frames that like will keep you up at night for a week. And it is then like the guy preaching that guy.
Yeah.
That guy's a dumbass.
So yeah, the scenes with all the Titans and stuff and coming through the wall was pretty traumatic. I mean, what did we think of that?
Pretty
Nightmare
nutty.
fuel.
It is nightmare fuel. They really did do a great job of making them fucking terrifying. And what do you call the big dude, the armored titan? That's what he's called?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How the fuck are they gonna manage that guy? Like, that's what's going through my mind. Like the little dudes, like yeah, you can just like slice them up real quick, easy money. But with that dude, man, why don't you just go move somewhere else, bro?
Even
I mean,
They shot cannons at this dude, and he just brushed it off
Yeah.
like it was nothing.
That's like the best they got, apparently.
like even then with the little dudes like being less terrifying than this giant armored guy who comes in, like there's not a single one killed or anything. There's nothing. There's no resistance.
Mhm.
There's
Yeah,
not a chance.
I don't. It's hard to imagine how they're gonna be able to put up any kind of fight in the future. But yeah, pretty wild.
Absolutely wild stuff. So normally at the start of the video, we give our general rating. Before we go in depth and talking about it, the rating could change by the end after we're done talking about it. But for me, this episode, leaving after the pilot, There's a lot of information thrown at you in a quick time, and I think that might be my only thing that might hold this episode back a little bit is just the amount that they throw at you. Because in a 20-minute episode, there's only so much you can take in. But other than that, I mean, this episode is it's just pilot like part 2. So I mean,
Yeah, that's
I'm
what I was thinking. It's more of an exposition
yeah.
than anything.
So I'm gonna.
So I
Yeah, you can go ahead.
continue.
You can go ahead. You can give your rating first.
Okay. No, I was gonna say that like you guys said that you thought it was a lot too much information. I personally think that that's the reason why I like it so much is that the first episode didn't give you that much information. It was a lot of like character development type stuff. I feel like in this episode it was explaining how the walls work, how that they can barely feed the people inside, and how that how all these new people coming in from Shiganshina affects that. I just think the information overload, in my opinion, actually made the episode very good.
Yeah, and I'm talking from a point of maybe some people. I know it's not a problem for me. Like I love that. I think that's just one of the only things you could possibly kind of pull at this episode. So for me personally, I think I'm just gonna give it a little step below the pilot episode, like a 9.5. I think that's where it stands as an
Pretty
episode.
damn good.
Yeah.
I rated it 10 last week.
I mean, the
Like-
big tell is if Dan, what did you think of all the information that got thrown at you this episode?
I thought it was pretty good at being informative. It's kind of what I would expect from kind of an apocalyptic event happening like this. And they do a good job of showing the raw emotions of the 3 main characters and how they really went through it. Obviously, there's the over exaggeration that comes with some
It's anime.
but yeah,
Yeah, it's not done to death here, but there's some.
yeah. But there are some parts where I really just want to kick Aaron's face in.
But as much as you want to kick his face in, you can still like understand him 100%. I
Yeah.
feel like.
Yeah, it's understandable.
So for your
What?
rating, what would you give this episode as an unbiased new viewer?
I'd give it probably give it like an. I don't want to be too nitpicky because it is a short. These episodes are short, so I can't really be too demanding because it's not like they can put more into a short episode. So I'll give it like a 9.
9.
I feel like
solid.
Good.
it was great. I feel like there could have been a little more action, but it is an intro episode, and yeah.
Did you like it more than the first one?
No, just because the ending of the first episode was so unexpected and
It just left you there with your thoughts. bro.
dramatic. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Shock factor.
Halls, what would you give the episode?
I'm not gonna lie. I actually like this episode more than I like the first one.
I figured you would.
I think first episode has the shock factor of it and the build up, and then all of a sudden it just goes crazy. I think this one, the feel of the episode is set in the beginning, and it kind of carries that throughout, this like sorrow, sadness type of vibe, which I thought was really good. So I gave last week a 10. I can't really go any higher than a 10. so
10.1.
I'll just say 10 times 2.
10 times 2. We're at a 20. So averaged out off the top of my head, I think we're looking at like a 9.4 ish, kind of excited. 9.5. We had 9, 9.5, and 10. I think it just averages out to 9.5, actually.
Disgraceful.
But I mean, it's not bad at all. I'm just thinking from the general sense of like the wide population watching this, maybe some people get a little thrown off by just everything they pack into this.
Yeah.
So after all the Titan massacres and stuff, we get we cut back to Eren, Hannes, and Mikasa, and Eren is peeved off as usual. Obviously, I mean, he just saw his mom die and everything, but he's acting
He's
like
a
Hannes
slob.
could have done anything.
No.
That's the thing. What could Hannes do? I mean, Hannes even put the blame on himself. Like, bro, that was not your fault.
Yeah,
That was
he's,
literally not your fault.
he's
Absolutely.
just going through it.
He-
After well, how much time had passed between the first and the second episode?
Oh, not even that
It's
was
like
that
right
was in like
after.
real time.
This is like just a continuation of it.
Okay, so that makes more sense why he was more pent up, and he just still emotional after what happened in the first episode. How he they lost so many soldiers out on that what would you call that? Like a mission? When they went out to attack that Titan?
Yeah, that's a
Whatever.
mission.
Expedition.
Expedition mission. Yeah, same thing.
Right.
So yeah, he saw all that, and then everything comes crumbling down right after that.
I have a question for both of you. So Hannes was telling Eren that it was all his fault and that he's a coward. So question for both of you. Do you guys think that he truly meant that, or do you think he was saying that to Eren to try to take away the blame? Because Eren thought it was his fault that he couldn't save his mom. But what do you guys think?
I mean, he kind of blamed it on Hannes at the same time, right? Like, you're asking me if Eren's blaming Hannes and Hannes was just taking it in.
Well, I'm asking what Hannes's motive for how saying it was his fault and he was crying. Like, do you think he meant that?
Oh,
that
he
it was his
genuinely
fault, or do you
genuinely
think
meant that.
that he was saying that to try to make Eren not blame himself?
I mean, it kind of served the purpose of that, but at the same time, I mean, Eren would have died right there. Like, let's not kid around. I mean, Hannes was taking full responsibility for that. He saw the Titan. He's the soldier. He's the adult, and he ran away. But it was the smart thing to do. But even though it was the right decision, it doesn't. He's going to be impacted by that.
Yeah, I definitely think he meant it. From like an emotional standpoint, because they don't really have an answer or like anyone to really blame for any of the events going on, and I can imagine that's weighing on him heavy being a scout, and his job is to protect the people, and the fact that he wasn't able to save her probably was weighing on his mind pretty heavy.
Just to inform you a little bit, so they have the scouts, the garrison, and the MP, which is the military police. Hannes is in the garrison, which they kind of just guard the walls. The scouts were the guys you saw parading back in.
Right.
So yeah, Hannes is just a wall guard pretty much.
Right.
But yeah, so so Eren's
That'd
really...
make even more sense because that is his job, to protect the people
He's never even seen a
from
Titan though.
the wall.
No, he's seen a Titan. He's up on the wall all the time. He talked about it in the first episode.
Oh, sorry, not seen a Titan, but he's never fought a Titan.
Yeah, he's never seen a
they've
Titan up
never
close. He's been on
breached the
top of the
walls.
wall whenever he's seen them or something. They just look like ants to him at that point. So after that scene, we go to them loading up the boats, and this is a crazy scene. Just shoving whoever they can on this boat, and at the same time, the masses are just sitting there outside trying to get in, and it's pandemonium.
Crazy what fear will do to people.
Yeah, I mean, what can you do though besides just panic at that point? Because you're either dead or you're throwing someone off that boat to get on or jumping onto that boat.
Yeah. It's pretty scary. Scary situation.
Yeah, so
I don't know what I would do.
So it starts with Armin and his grandfather already on the boat. They got out pretty early. They didn't wait and see anything really like Eren did. They immediately got to the boats. So Armin sees Eren and Mikasa coming up to get loaded onto the boats, which Hannes gets them on, like cuts the line pretty much. And the look on Eren's face is such a nicely drawn, not nicely, but such a like daunting look on his face that they have. It really gets the message across of what he has just seen.
Poor kid. Poor, honestly, all of them.
Yeah.
Like, no child should have to witness what he just witnessed.
No man, woman, and child should have witnessed what he just witnessed. It's so crazy to just think about the world of Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
It's
But me though,
scary,
me on the other
scary
hand, built
book.
different.
Built
that
different.
happened.
This dude.
Dude,
I
I would be
wouldn't
the
let
first
that
one
happen in the
dead.
first place.
That scene in the first episode where Armin's holding his arm down and he's just frozen, that would be me. Not even playing. Like, I would freeze, my body would not move, and I would be eaten, and it would be over for me. I would be a
I'll just
random.
go. I'll go full Karen and place him under citizen arrest. What are they gonna do at that point?
You stop there. Stop eating people. You can't do that. That's
Oh, my
against the
fault.
law.
My fault.
Yeah, my fault, fam.
My bad,
Turns around and
G.
walks back out.
Roll credits.
Attack on Titan solved, everybody. Thank you for coming to the
Back on Karen.
the last episode here of the Attack on Titan review.
It was a pleasure, guys. We'll see you for the Mandalorian.
Yeah, that show kind of sucked.
Jokes aside, we next scene is very trippy, and I want to know your thoughts on this first. Dan, there's the all of the shots of Eren's dad coming back.
Yeah, that's the one I have the most questions about.
All right, I just want to hear your thoughts right now on this.
So he thinks he dreams it, but that's something that happened. And did that happen before the wall, or was that like event like that? I was just kind of confused about that. And now all of a sudden he has it. I know he got the key from the first episode,
No, he didn't.
but he hasn't. Oh, did he not?
No.
Yeah, where the hell did he get the key from? I
So
thought he got it from the first episode.
it's supposed to be vague and maybe have you questioning whether it's a dream or not. But the
Right.
key's around his neck.
Yeah, it's now like all of a sudden around his neck.
And it's like, did you take anything away?
And it got injected with some shit too.
Yeah, did you take anything away besides well, like anything really? What did you take away from like these visions? Like any thoughts from them?
I'm thinking something his dad has something to do with the Titans themselves, is what I'm thinking. The mysteries, because I'm very intrigued on how these Titans came to fruition, or even how they were created. And I feel like that shit that Eren was injected with has to do with maybe his immunity, because I don't know if it's like an infection kind of thing, or like how that works. Because it's clearly people being converted into Titans.
I like
And
it.
I feel like
I never thought about that. Infection.
I feel like some of these, I don't know, in some of the scenes in the second episode, when the people were like running and hiding and like being found by the Titans, like it kind of looked like in some instances that they recognized some of the Titans. But I don't know. That a pretty mysterious scene.
I like
And something tells me there's a third person involved besides his dad. Just because of the fact that all of a sudden he has the key now.
I like where your mind goes. You really took in that scene actually. And
I think that's the biggest mystery in the entire show, though, is where did these Titans come from?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
there's such an external hell to these people that, I mean, they're so simple, yet, like, at the same time, it's like the way they describe everything that's happened
They're
to them.
clearly, at least the Armor Titan, pretty intelligent. And I wonder if they work as like a hive mind or like they're just like, I don't want to say like brainwashed, but I feel like someone is responsible for these Titans existing
Hmm.
in a
So,
way.
I'm gonna leave your thoughts hanging just like that. I
Okay.
just get them out just like that, and leave you with those questions because that's what the journey's all about. Is just kind of formulating your own thoughts and like what could be happening.
Yeah, that scene definitely got my mind firing.
Very thought
Got the juices
provoking
flowing.
show.
For real. Um, from those scenes, we wake up and Eren is off the boat, and we are inside Wall Rose, the second wall in the Attack on Titan universe.
So now that we're in Wall Rose, they're currently at a stockpile building that they had used for rations. All the boats were brought there, and so everyone's just sitting around getting handed out just bread. That's all they can apparently afford.
I mean, it looks
Um,
scrumptious.
They're getting that bread.
Probably the most fire bread that could have ever been baked.
I swear, poor people bread that they show in like TV and media always looks bussin', bro.
It's
It
like
hits
that
different.
you know that bread from I don't know if you guys have ever seen that what is it? It's like that Disney short movie Jack and the Beanstalk with
Yes, bro.
Minnie, no, not Minnie, Mickey, Goofy and Donald,
Oh,
and they're like slicing that tiny piece of bread into like little like paper-sized pieces, and they put like a half piece of bean in between it.
Dog, it
I
looks
don't know
so good
why.
though.
That tiny little
scrumptious.
slice of bread looks scrumptious. Excuse my language. Yeah.
So as the Mikasa and our Aaron are sitting there, Armin approaches with loaves of bread for each one of them. And so while they're sitting there, two of the guards just start talking crazy, talking about how fatten them up so that they can feed them to the Titans, which is pretty messed up. And Aaron does not like that, not at all.
Of
He,
course.
Took exception.
Aaron, being his little 12-year-old self, says, "I will not stand for this," and approaches them and gets the shit kicked out of him, to put it lightly.
Yeah, Aaron gets his ass beat, and then
Rightfully
Armin
so.
stands up and he does the greatest suck down of all time.
Oh yeah. Please don't. He's just hungry. Ignore him. We're all hungry.
Little cuck boy.
Please, sir, please.
Please
Don't
hurt my friend. He's just hungry.
Can I have some more?
We're all hungry, ain't we? Ain't it?
Oh my! So they walk back away from everyone, and Aaron is seeing red. He vows that he's going to go back to Walmaria and kill every single one of the Titans. It does not want to be like the guards acting all tough when inside the walls.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Um,
I
he's
can't blame him.
he's just going off on Armin, bro. He's laying into Armin, throwing like blow for blow. Like Armin's not even trying to defend himself, like as usual. Armin's not the type to defend himself. He's just taking every verbal abuse like to the chin. He's on the verge of a knockout right now.
Yeah, I mean, he chucks the bread at him. Dude's all mad, and then Mikasa hits him with haymaker of the century,
Meanest right hook I've ever seen in my life.
looking like Mike Tyson, female Mike Tyson.
Damn near killed him. Out
Yeah.
for the count.
He was out cold, bro. He was sitting there for a minute, and then she went on her tangent about it. But
Bosses
Aaron,
up on him.
the whole time, Aaron is just fucking. He's a corpse, dude.
And she's definitely my favorite of the three right now.
Oh, okay,
Mikasa's
okay.
just cool, calm, and collected. And I can also say that Mikasa is my favorite as well.
At this point in the story, I can say Armin is definitely my favorite, even though he's the weakest
right
strength
there.
wise.
Armin's right there. He's a great character.
I feel like just nobody likes Aaron at this point. I mean, you understand where he comes
I
from.
mean, who would? Who would?
But he
Like-
is just so everyone else has some kind of composure and understanding of the situation. Aaron does not. He does not care.
What are we supposed to do? Just sit here and be parasites? Yes.
What else?
You're a
do you do?
child.
I get his logic. But the way he acted after seeing his mom get torn apart versus how, and we'll get into this a little bit later, how Armin reacted to his grandfather not coming back.
Yeah.
Like,
Aaron's a bitch
Armin-
compared to Armin.
Like, oh, boo hoo.
Aaron was just I had no words, dudes. He's a child. Let's give him a break. He's a child. He's a 12-year-old little boy. What
Armin's
is
a
he
child,
really
too.
know? Yeah, but okay.
Armin's
Yeah, I
still got
nothing.
more balls than Aaron could ever have at this point.
And then, so after Mikasa bosses up on Aaron, we cut to an Aaron monologue explaining what went down following the fall of Shiganshina. So all the refugees that you had seen at the place they were at where the rations were, they all were sent to work on a wasteland to grow food. However, the ground was too cold during the winter, and they apparently yielded nothing.
Yeah, they got nothing out of
So-
that.
No food.
They got mud.
They got mud. And
Good enough for
they
me.
even it's even more tough because apparently the inside of Wall Maria didn't even have enough food to begin with to feed the people that were already inside that wall. So now they're bringing in, I don't know if they had a number for how many refugees there were. I know 10,000 died during the fall of Shiganshina. I don't know how many survived. I don't think they say that.
So for adults, they had 856 that had survived on the boats. 856 of the people who were on the boats were adults. But besides that, we don't have a number for the total.
Yeah, that's not that many. I mean, that looks like a pretty densely populated city, and the fact that apparently only 800 able-bodied adults were able to make it out of there, that's concerning.
Yeah, it does kind of raise questions about their preparation for an event like this. Because they clearly weren't ready, and they clearly had their guard down. In the first episode, what do you call them again? The guys on the wall?
The garrison.
The garrison, yeah, they're just all getting drunk. No one's really making work towards progression and more towards sustainability. Clearly, I mean, is that the first time they had an encounter with an armored titan? I
The
assume.
Armor Titan, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any Titan,
So
really.
they couldn't have been ready for it. But at the same time, I know they have the 3 walls, but man, they've already broken down 2 of them. So what are they gonna do when they break them the 3rd one? They just go extinct? They run away?
So for that,
I think about the precaution and
they
what
had
they're gonna
only-
do after that.
they've only broken through the first wall. That was just the inner gate of the first wall, like because Shiganshina is an outer city, so there's a wall toward the outside and then a wall toward the inside of Wall Maria. So they had broken through the first wall at the beginning of episode 1, and then partway through episode 2, they broke through the inner gate to get into the Wall Maria. And then it goes into Wall Maria. So they're at Wall Rose now, which is the second wall.
Right.
So they're two gates through. Well, I mean, they're one gate through.
Yeah, technically, it seemed like they breached 2 walls, but technically, they really only breached Wall Maria twice.
Yeah, they just got through the city of Shiganshina and
Yeah,
had compromised
seem
Wall
like
Rose.
they just seem super ill prepared and disorganized, and they didn't really look like they had a lot of precautions for an event like this. You think that they have like I may be speaking too soon, but like underground bunkers or something where they can't easily be picked off?
I don't think you would be saying too soon, because they had a century to prepare for this stuff. They had 100
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
100 years where nothing had gone wrong besides them sending out scouts and them getting their asses handed to them every time.
Right.
Yeah, they had 100 years of preparation time. I mean, I feel like that's enough.
Underground bunkers would have been insanely smart. But they'd have to probably make him deep enough, because imagine if that Colossal Titan gets in. I mean, I don't know if he's pushing the ground down at all, but that's a lot of weight that Colossal Titan is.
Yeah. Well, it's just a thought. I mean, like something like that, or maybe like, I don't know.
All right, so I have a question for both of you. So they showed that there was only one way to get in, or well, technically 2. They had the gate, that one gate to get into through Wall Maria, and then they had the boats.
Yeah, they had one way in, one way out,
only
both
one
ways.
way in, one way out. And so it kind of segues into this, but I want to ask you guys, do you think that there is a correlation between the social class systems in real life and the social class systems in Attack on Titan?
I think they almost go hand in hand. I mean, like Shiganshina has to be the lowest class possible, so they're like the poor class, pretty much.
All the people in Shiganshina didn't really make it to the boats, I imagine.
Barely any of them made it to the boats.
Yeah, barely any of them made it to the next
10,000 of them didn't make it to the boats.
They sent all of the adults out back. We'll get into this in a second, but they sent all of the adults back out into Wall Maria. So basically, there's only 200 plus children survivors from Shiganshina.
That's pretty tough.
So I'm reading this. I think a lot of people. I can't find a number. For how many people survived from the fall of Shiganshina, but apparently, and it said it, but 250,000 people that were sent back into Shiganshina to attempt to retake it. 250,000. Not even 200 of them survived.
Oh yeah, so yeah, there were some adult survivors. They go into this entire thing right after the scene that we're still on right now, but they talk about it, and basically there's probably like 200 children, because there was 500 people per boat, so about 1,000 people made it to Wall Rose, and they sent back 856 of those people back into Wall Maria to reclaim it, along with over 240 something thousand people to go along with them.
Imagine being on the other side of Wall Maria and everything's fine, and then all of a sudden you have to say, "Hey, sorry, we got to send you back into the city to try to retake it. Like,
Yeah, how did they get
inexperienced people.
250,000 willing people to go back into that bloodbath
Oh, it
where
wasn't
they
willing.
were surely gonna die?
There's no way it was willing.
Yeah, they definitely wasn't willing. They have soldiers and stuff to force people outside of the walls and stuff. All these civilians to force them outside the walls. But my biggest question comes from Shiganshina wasn't the only outer city, and there's other gates inside these other cities, inside of Wall Maria, that I would have wanted to see, like, the results of.
Yeah, it seems like the Titans all sort of focused on one city, which happened to be Shiganshina.
Yeah, and from that, there's other cities, but like they're closed off to the rest of the world at that point because Wall Maria is compromised. But they're also still stuck in those cities, and there's also gates closing them off from the rest of Wall Maria.
If you think about it, if the Titans get into Wall Maria, like those other cities that are kind of like Shiganshina, where they're like half circles outside of like Wall Maria, I wonder, like, they're honestly probably not even in that bad of a position. I mean, yeah, they're stuck and they're cut out from the outside world, but at least they have that wall,
Yeah, and I
that
think
extra wall.
they would they'd be on their own at that point, but at the
Mhm.
same time, they would have to like try to repurpose some of the city or something. Like some people would eventually die, right? That is the point. They're stuck inside the city, and the city is the only thing they have. So all of these people, some people are gonna die, but they have to repurpose some of the inner city or something, or all of
Yeah,
them are
Going
gonna
to be
die.
able to. I mean, it's all city. Like in Shiganshina, there is not really much. There's no farms in there.
Yeah,
It is
because
just a
Walmaria is
city.
most of their farms. But like being cut off from the rest of their farms, like I want to know what they did to try to preserve their like way of life inside this little half circle, you know?
Yeah,
I don't
again,
even
that
think they'd be
that
able
goes
to.
back to the precautions. Like in an event like this, like I don't know. Like they were smart enough to put up the three walls, but like in the event that the three walls don't work, what were they gonna do?
Well, and they stated this earlier. In the episode, they said that they had like the three walls, and then they had these like outside cities, and they even said that it was built to draw in Titans to a set area, so that they weren't attacking like the rest of the walls. They were just going after the outside cities. And if they get into those, at least, one, they'll have more food if everyone dies. Two, the Titans, one area is better than having them everywhere.
Yeah.
Armor
I mean,
Titan had other ideas though.
yeah, Armor Titan said, "Screw that. I'm gonna wreck your shit."
Y'all thought?
Yeah, so
Psych.
basically they don't expand on this point of the other outer cities. I think we have to leave it at that. But I would have liked to see what in this episode what the other cities would have done. I mean, it's only a 20-minute episode, but I mean, it leaves the big cliffhanger that they're inside Wall Rose now, and they kind of explained how the government of Wall Rose responds to this kind of attack. In a way, they had this little scene where there were some guys talking about it, and a scout warns them, or not scout, but somebody warns them that the Titans have gotten through Wall Maria, and nobody explains on the point of the other cities, like what that means for them.
Yeah,
And their government seems to be in disarray.
I mean, 100 years goes by with no incident. I mean, it's the people that were alive during maybe when there was an incident, they're not here. Like, it is a completely new generations of people who have never experienced something like this before. So after the scene of the Eren monologue, it cuts to a clip. Well, actually, while they're monologuing, it cuts to a clip of the three of them in a room together, and Armin is holding his grandfather's hat, which implies that his grandfather was one of the adults sent on the expedition to try to reclaim Shiganshina, and unfortunately did not come back.
Yeah, and it's very very glossed over. I feel almost that Aaron's grandfather was. I mean, they come to this, but Aaron's grandfather was brutally murdered by these Titans and everything, and they just cut to him with all that's left of him is his hat, and Armin is crying over this thing.
He handles it much better than Eren did.
Yeah, yeah. Aaron would have ran back into Walmaria and just died immediately himself if his grandfather died to this or something.
And taking it into his own hands.
Well, and that's what he says he's going to do, because after the monologue, he claims that he is going to kill every single last Titan, which is something that he did, what he said earlier in the episode. But he blames it all on them and starts a conversation about joining the cadets to eventually become a scout. And as he's talking about that, it cuts to a shot of all of them, the three of them, with a bunch of other cadets standing in front of their general. I can't remember his name. Dylan, do you remember
Shondas.
Dwayne The Rock
Shondas?
Johnson. With very heavy
The Rock.
eye bags.
I mean, who wouldn't have eye bags during this this time in life?
Let's just call him The Rock on 2 hours of sleep.
Malnourished Rock, the Pebble.
The Pebble.
The Pebble.
The Pebble Shondas is giving a giant speech about how these guys will not sleep and they will dream about the training he puts them through for years to come.
Yeah, and where is that training ground? Is that outside the wall? Or is that, it looked like it was in a different location.
It's behind Wall Rose somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure where, but
they
It
would
looked,
have to be
like,
somewhere
huge.
safe
Not Wall Rose.
to train all
Yeah,
these
no.
people.
yeah, Wall Rose.
Yeah, because that wall did not look, it was like made out of wood and like, that ain't keeping anything out.
Yeah, they had him behind Wall Rose because they're going to be training for 3 years, he says.
No, they had him behind Wall Maria, not Wall Rose. Wall Rose is the one before. They broke through 2 walls, but technically that second wall was into Wall Maria.
Yeah,
Like-
so they're still behind Wall Rose,
No,
because all the refugees
Actually,
have to be somewhere safe to train, so they're behind Wall Rose.
yeah, they don't explain that very well. Like, because they got behind Wall Maria, and then the Armored Titan destroys the wall. But then after that, they just cut into the monologue, and you don't know what happens after that. So I'm not sure if they're behind Wall Rose or they were able to, cover the wall of Wall Maria.
Yeah, no, it's definitely Wall Rose. It's probably a repurposed place to land because they probably used to. I mean, maybe they trained him in Wall Rose, but it's definitely a area where it's safe to train them for a long period of time, because he talks about 3 years is about what they're about to go through.
And so then after that cadet scene, Eren again claims that he's going to get revenge on these Titans, and the episode ends.
Yeah, he is not forgotten about what everything happened, and he thinks every Titan is going to fear him.
Yeah.
I don't
How
think
much time has elapsed? Like, I assume he's like a 17, like 16,
Well, they look
17
older,
now.
and he says that he's
Yeah,
going to join the cadets the
sounded
next
older
year.
too.
So they all look older now. I want to say they're probably like 16 now.
Yeah, some time has passed. Probably about 2-3 years. They've definitely aged a good amount in that time.
Yeah, I do wonder, like, what, like, I feel like that's plenty of time for the Armored Titan to just wreak havoc on the rest of city, you know? Like, if he got through the second wall that easily, what's stopping him from just going all the way, same day?
I think
Yeah,
I feel like a year,
that's a good question.
2 years is
What are the
a
Titans'
little too
motive?
long. Like, they need to act now. Like, if he's not going through now, then why? Why wouldn't he?
yeah, I feel
Just
like
to maybe just to toy with them, just because the Armored Titans do seem to be intellectual and they move like real people. Maybe they have different motives. They're just kind of toying with the humans, maybe for sport in a way. Maybe letting them thrive, or like that one soldier said, just fattening them up for more food.
yeah, I
It could be
mean,
anything.
yeah, there's really no reason left for why they're able to age and why they're able to get to the next day.
Because they
Um,
clearly don't have enough defenses.
yeah, they definitely
No.
don't. They did not prepare for this at all. They had a sentry, and the best they got is a couple cannons, which I feel like they would have had before.
Everything was annihilated in a day.
All right. So before we end the episode, any final thoughts from the two of you?
I
I
mean,
can't wait. See what happens.
Sure.
I mean, it's good. It's good that we have so many questions and stuff because it does bring you back to wanting to watch more, wanting to find out what happens.
All right. So that is going to bring us to the end of our Attack on Titan review, episode 2. If you want to see more of us, you can subscribe to our YouTube, the Juice Bros, and then follow us on TikTok and Twitter at the Juice Bros YT.
Turn on that post notification, baby.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
sir.
Keep updated. We're gonna try to keep uploading more.
I get into a
And
groove.
get into a groove. It's been slow rolling so far, but yeah. In the future, I get to show these guys some of my favorite stuff.
Can't wait.
Invincible coming soon.